Greetings! It is I, Director of Arketer, as is usually the case. And, one can be late, but I wasn't, although it was awfully close. I'm joined just now in call by Haven, who probably should have had an invite calling sooner, and if anyone else shows up who wants to join, we'll see about that. I'm flying by the seat of my pants here. Clearly. Greetings in chat too. K-Show, Nerdy Rodent, Octane Junkie, Stubius in 100, Carlos Fish, and that seems to be about it. I'm not hearing you, President Haven. I hope you can hear me. I'm not sure if I've set up anything correctly. Yeah, I'm actually not hearing you at all. Oh dear. I'm going to tinker with settings. This is not good. Yes, this is what I thought. Yes, I can. And you're still hearing me. That's good. However, I've completely failed to arrange it for you to hear what video plays. Maybe I can still fix that? Okay. Still hearing me? And probably some background music as well. Yes. Okay. We're doing well. Better anyway. Pardon. I've been tinkering with things in great heat and I haven't been listening to music, which is a mistake on my part, as I'm having to realize I'm a person who has absolutely almost no grasp of time's passing unless I'm listening to music. It's some deep personal failing, I'm sure. So I looked at the clock and realized, holy shit, it's almost time for the show, and I have nothing ready. But I've risen to the challenge, I think. How are you, Haven? We didn't get a chance to talk before I sent you a calling just now, really. Acute sympathies. And be sure to Twitter or DM the thing to Megon. I think they'll find that quite amusing. I had no idea there were Megon Industries in No Man's Sky. I wonder if it's remotely possible they could have intentionally tossed it in there. Although that were the case, I'd expect him to... No sounds coming through from guests still. That shouldn't be possible. They should be hearing you quite well. Okay, well, in any case, I shall send you a link. Caleb. Now, how's that possible? Desktop audio output. That's what's wrong. Audio output capture was not... Okay, now it should be fixed.
Yay. Now I hear myself double now.
Okay, that will be an unfortunate side effect. Unless I change your audio input back to... Hang there.
Technical difficulties.
Well, I would typically feel rather bad about that, but there are so many worse technical difficulties going on, and mine aren't resulting in anyone's death. Except my own on the inside. And that's fine. Meanwhile, as soon as I figure out where I put Discord, I'll be providing you with a call link. Hear it. Okay. Now we're good to go. Where shall we start with the news? We're a bit short on wacky, silly news things, but... No, I'm sorry. The biggest titles right now are super wacky, insane things. Let's start with maybe the top three from the best single source to go to find them, BBC Pigeon. First up,
Yay!
two of the world's most high-profile tech billionaires agree to fight each other inside cage.
Way.
Oh, I can't wait to see that.
I don't think we ever will see that. This is.
I would pay to see that.
I think what we're going to see is basically a repeat of some internet history we all might recall, wherein a super cool fight was planned out and then it didn't happen for some incredibly stupid reason or another. But in any case, to continue the article, and greetings, by the way, Caleb. How are you, by the way?
It's not how I'm doing. I've heard that you've been having a bit of a struggle here, so I've come to help make this a success.
Yay.
I'm not quite sure how, but your consideration is appreciated. Two of the world's most high-profile technology billionaires, Elon Musk and Mark Zuckerberg, don't agree to fight each other for a cage match. Mr. Musk posted message on top in social media platform Twitter, say day up for a cage fight with Mr. Zuckerberg. Mr. Zuckerberg, the ogre of Facebook, and Instagram parent company Meta, come post screenshot of Mr. Musk tweet with the caption, "Send me location."
So we have a fight proposed between the world's richest autist and the world's most convincing android.
Yes.
Which one's which?
Fuck if I know.
That's what we're about to find out.
Did Tory speak for himself? One Meta TikTok pass until BBC. Mr. Musk come reply. Mr. Zuckerberg response. Vegas Octagon. So apparently at some point in the near future, we can watch Elon Musk and Mark Zuckerberg punch each other. Now I'm skeptical it will happen at all, but it does sound hilarious. And it's practically lighthearted compared to the other two things we're about to get into. Greetings and good relevant time of day or night to you, Green Badger Outdoors. Glad you can make it. I'm set up to 7 likes, which means that we are close to at least a like-based success. It is appreciated.
Oh,
Yay.
we're at 9.
Oh, well, even better. I look forward to the trusty reporters in chat to let me know when it probably hits that number. So, who thinks who's going to win in this titanic matchup of the ages?
Musk definitely has the well, Musk has retard strength, so yeah, there's that.
And also, it kind of looks like Zuckerberg kind of has like a glass jaw, but he also has the clear advantage of being made of metal.
Well, there's no guarantee that he is made of metal. Could just be an advanced polymer endoskeleton. Also, Zuckerberg definitely has a glass jaw.
Yes, you can see it.
You said, what was it, retard strength, was it, on front one? Or shouldn't they say that, mentally disabled strength? And while I think Mr. Musk keeps himself in much better shape, I am not certain Zuckerberg couldn't land an upset with nerd rage.
I still think special strength wins.
But what I want to know is, will they pass the blood tests required for the match to take place? Because I don't think we can easily believe one of them even has any blood. So, pretty sure nanobot fluids are considered performance enhancers.
Well, I mean, we could just give Musk some steroids and even it out that way. What would be more interesting is what would they each stake?
I'm sure it's quite enough for these to wager their pride. Because it's... Well, we'll see, we'll see. Again, I don't think this will happen, but it would be fascinating and something for the history books if it did pan out. I just know better than to get my hopes up on these things. History has taught me not to do that.
Oh no, I've committed a cardinal sin. I forgot I made coffee. I'll be back.
No, okay then. Neurodivergent
no.
strength is fine. I'll try to remember that in the future. Wing it.
Oh no,
humans.
it was.
Your patience is appreciated.
It's just some people really don't like it when you use the R word.
Oh no, not artistic. Green junkie.
Yeah.
Close.
Also, I think like if it's a boxing match with boxing gloves, Zuckerberg is also in the clear disadvantage because of the sheer size of his eye sockets. It's gonna do a lot more harm to his eyes if he gets hit in the face.
Okay, so this probably won't actually be MMA.
He also
That
has
said,
a more
I can't unsee
prominent
it now.
nose.
I didn't think about that until now. That's one more very haunting aspect of him, isn't it?
I mean, I used to. I wasn't professional by any means, but I used to go to boxing for self-defense, and we learned to recognize weaknesses in people as part of the training. It was still amateur boxing because we were wearing helmets and tooth protectors and gloves, of course. But you could still see, like, okay, so this person hit them on the nose because it's prominent and they've broken it like 5 times before. It'll like break like tiny glass vial being tossed on the ground.
Someone point out that, yeah, Musk's forehead is an awfully large target, but I'm willing to bet the bone's thick. Sorry, we'll move on. Greetings in chat, Pup. Glad you can join us. Well, you perhaps heard about this. Well, it's hard to call this particular case tragic. Because if anyone's dug in the story, you know that the person responsible for it went out of his way to pretty much guarantee this would happen. Titanic sub-live updates, Ocean Gate and Coast Guard say all 5 Pippo inside Titan sub-Dawn die. Yes, Div 5 passengers on board the missing Titan submersible Dawn die, 1 Coast Guard official talk. This na after the company where they operate the submersible Ocean Gate talk the same tin. The company say the 5 men na true explorers way share a spirit of adventure. The Coast Guard been discover 1 debris alias waste field for the area, way dem day search for the rope, way near the Titanic, now wet in the US Coast Guard been announced. This na latest update on top of the missing tourist submarine, way carry Pippo to see the Titanic ship Raven sink many years ago. Continent. He apparently had an engineer who told him that his sub was a death trap, and he fired the engineer and just said he's better off without, old white guy with experience being on the team. And I'm pretty sure said engineer is pretty happy to have not been part of this expedition. Curiously, I understand he didn't actually do any stress testing on the sub in question. They didn't even send it down unmanned first to the desired depth. Nope. They just winged it.
Wasn't there also another passenger who saw this up and said, no, I'm not going to join you?
There was apparently prior to this, there had been some journalists who had been there, been on it, and immediately recognized that they were on a death trap and were very unwilling to, say, take part in this particular venture.
So, I saw a report, very much unconfirmed, that allegedly a secret naval oceanic monitoring station, radar station, some such, detected an implosion very shortly after the sub's launch, all the way in the beginning.
I know I've heard it claimed that no, they didn't actually hear it, but I'm willing to bet they did. On the bright side, You can at least say that they didn't suffer, because when submarine implodes at a depth great enough to cause it to implode, there's no time to suffer. They were here, and then they're very, 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 very gone.
Yes.
Did the idiot that refused to do any kind of testing at least go down with the ship?
Yes. So there's
Well,
at least
good
that.
then. That's a happy ending.
He was such a colossal idiot. He basically committed suicide, and he took 4 very foolish young people with him.
Hold on. I
One
want
of
to
them
rephrase that.
was his son that he forced to join him.
Oh no.
Yep, I want to. Well, at least that kind of stupidity ends its own lineage.
Oh,
Anyways,
no.
I'm not gonna. I want to rephrase that. Not happy ending. Silver lining.
Okay. Assuming that that was his only son that he pulled in sub, this turns this whole incident into a Darwin Award contender. Because he's quite thoroughly removed his genes from the pool. They're all over the ocean, but they're out of the pool.
Well, this definitely brings a whole new meaning to going down with the ship.
It does. There is a new journalist on Twitter I'm quite fond of already. I've recommended them to be followed from my Twitter page. Al Onliker is doing some investigation into this, and I'm pretty sure we've got a short introduction in video as to what the hell happened.
Service. An experimental submersible vessel that has not been approved or certified by any regulatory body and could result in physical injury, disability, emotional trauma, or death. Where do I sign?
Oh, take your shoes off.
The son is the Darwin
Okay.
Award, but the father...
Wow.
Inside, the sub has about as much room as a minivan.
That was
This
it.
is not your grandfather's submersible. We only have one button. That's it. It should be like an elevator. You know, it shouldn't take a lot of skill.
The Titan is the only 5-person sub in the world that can reach Titanic depths, 2.4 miles below the sea.
Coming back to the mountain.
It's also the only one with a toilet. Sort of. And yet, I couldn't help noticing how many pieces of this sub seemed improvised.
We can use these off-the-shelf
Oh, he
components.
wasn't on
I got
board.
these from Camper
Oh,
World.
that's a
We
twist.
run the whole thing with this game controller.
Come on! It seems like...
Yes, ballast, by the way, was provided by rusty pipes they just stuck on the side.
Oh God.
Okay, Octane Junkies let me know, and this I didn't know this. Bob Ballard wasn't on board. Bob Ballard is... Wow. He forced his son to just go die under the ocean. And he's still alive. I don't
well
know...
then.
I don't know how he could bear to be still alive.
He should be in prison.
I'm thinking as soon as they figure out how to handle the jurisdiction on this, he probably will. Or if not, he's certainly now going to be a legend for what remains of his life in the worst way. I know, it pains me because I would like... Yes. Yes.
Hold on.
They controlled it with a Mad Cat's controller.
Hold on, just a sec. I believe that this guy might be the only person in modern day history that might just have a true sovereign citizen claim to be trialed under maritime law.
Wow. Just must go down. This case. I thought the best thing about this is that he took himself out. Just wow.
Yeah, that just there's no silver lining here. That just makes this a complete and utter tragedy.
Oof. Okay, maybe we should move away from this one. It's starting to smell bad. Particularly bad. Right. Am I missing anyone in chat? I don't think so. I hope you're all enjoying the show.
There's
We
a
are-
Kefki.
Greetings, Kefki. Right. I think I was responding with text, but didn't actually Look, it's K names. We just put it together. So, Sorry about that. But yes, everything about this thing was a terrible idea. It pains me, though, because they talk about how this wasn't vetted by regulatory agencies. I don't think everything needs to. This one should have, clearly. I don't necessarily trust the regulatory agency in the first place. In fact, I'm willing to bet he bought his way around a lot of checks and balances that would have been extant. Unfortunately, he was too much of a cheap bastard to actually pay for quality engineers to ensure that his submersible wasn't a death trap that would do precisely what it would. I understand at one point he told the engineer he fired that the sub couldn't be tested because it was just too strong.
Just
Wow. And what I can't get over is the fact they never sent it down unmanned first. That just seems like one of the utmost critical tests one would need to undertake with a submersible.
Yes.
what government body would even be in charge of regulating experimental seafaring craft?
International waters. No, the governments don't really have the power to enforce this. I'm not sure they should have it, but this is fucking awful.
I'm certainly not advocating for more government power. I just wanted to draw a comparison between something such as this and, say, experimental aircraft in aviation, where, for the most part, unless you get very special licensing, which basically requires it to be that's more on the pilot than the aircraft, but it still needs to go through all of the FAA requirements to actually take people up in an experimental aircraft.
We have had a brief spat of misinformation, unintentionally, which I have been complicit in, and I believe that we've all been corrected. Octane Junkie reports that Bob Ballard had nothing to do with the shit show. Good. He's credited for discovering the Titanic wreck. The CEO is a completely different guy and was on board for the disaster of his own corner cutting. So, yeah.
So the silver lining has returned?
The silver lining has returned. Bob Ballard is a stand-up person, apparently, and we've inadvertently, briefly signed. I hope no one has started a campaign against Bob Ballard. Bob Ballard apparently did nothing wrong. This is what you get for not having details in your head from before touching on something. And we're back to the bright side of being, he's toast.
I don't think that the brief error has caused too much of a mistake, because the show is a success.
Indeed. Thank you all.
Oh my god, you're taking my job away from me.
The dad bacon.
I took your job!
Wow.
I get to do it too.
Okay, we're moving on. In other news, I'm sure you've perhaps heard the weirdest twist of the whole Ukraine conflict.
No.
Oh, well
this
then.
This
Allow
is
me to quickly
good.
bring you up to speed. The mercenary group that Russia has been using to slowly grind Ukraine to death, the Wagner group, marched inward and basically declared war on Russia instead.
Yay!
Yeah, apparently their boss really hates the Russian military for being incompetent, treacherous, looting scumbags. And it would seem that the Russian military was just about ready to let him march in and dispose them. But apparently, the newest news is thus. Once again, from BBC Pigeon. Russia, Moscow, Kremlin, Wagner Group reconsidered the advancement inside Putin territory. Which, put that way, makes it sound like they're in Putin.
Well, I mean, they will be soon. I think it's just really really amusing when a PMC group is just fed up with the incompetence of an entire country.
Yeah. Honestly, everything he said, I was kind of rooting for him.
I mean, you gotta hand it to him for getting involved fighting on Russia's side with basically the entire world backing Ukraine. You know, at least they have some fucking balls there, but
Oh, yes.
yeah.
I can never pronounce this from the text, but Yevgeny Prigozhin. No one can question the size of his balls. Honestly, it's amazing he can walk. But dem say dem go return to field camps for Ukraine to avoid shedding Russian blood. Wagner mercenary leader Yevgeny Prigozhin sent voice note on IM Telegram channel saying IM don't agree to stop the movement of IM troops way advance into the Russian capital. The announcement from Wagner Group commander appear to don't level the crisis way don't escalate, way represent the most significant challenge to present Vladimir Putin leadership for in more than 20 years' reign. Moscow been done prepare for the arrival of a private army led by the rebellious mercenary commander by building checkpoints with armored vehicles and troops on the southern edge. I'm thinking he's kind of screwed. Oh,
I will freely admit that I did not have Russian Civil War sparked by PMC Group on my bingo card for what was going to end the Russia-Ukraine conflict.
Oh, I don't think that's ended yet. Too many people want to just keep on going, possibly forever.
Well, this is most certainly going to end it on Russia's side, that's for sure.
I suppose we'll see. This was certainly most unexpected. As I understand it, Yevgeny had an issue with the fact that Russia, or rather the Russian military leaders, had faked an attack in the Donbass region as a pretense to just loot the area. That's one of the things they really, really hated, it would seem.
I'm not at all surprised that with Putin at the helm, we're going back to old KGB tactics.
Well, apparently he believed that Putin himself had been deceived. And I wonder...
I'm sure Putin told him that.
I would think so, although if they did genuinely deceive Putin, then we're probably going to see a lot more heads rolling. Any case.
Rolling.
But this
Greetings,
actually-
Assess
Sorry,
the
go ahead.
Grey, and thank you for your promotion efforts.
What just popped into my head is if Wagner's involved, which I've heard of, I wonder what BlackRock is doing.
BlackRock is doing an awful lot, but that's just going to depress me. I mean, compared to BlackRock, Blackwater, and a lot of other PMCs, Wagner Group is...
Oh wait, no, hold on. Was it
actually
Blackwater?
charming. Blackwater, I
was-
believe, renamed itself some time ago to try to dodge its incredibly justified, terrible reputation as Dick Cheney's murder piggy bank.
I can never keep track of these fuckers.
BlackRock has not, as I understand it yet, renamed itself and remains a very big threat to everyone else with their general prosecution of certain wealth policies revolving around us all owning nothing, renting everything, so they can finally be happy.
Well, my apologies on the error then. I wasn't trying to drag BlackRock into this. Blackwater was the other group that I was thinking of. I'm sure that all of the various PMC groups are involved in this somehow.
Now, ostensibly, BlackRock is considerably worse.
Oh, absolutely. The
Why?
threats from within are always worse.
Well, if you didn't know, Project Veritas did an expose on BlackRock, where the recruiter was very forthcoming as to how good war is for business.
I don't know what the hell kind of magic or pheromones or drugs that James O'Keefe puts on these people, but they just all seem to want to spill everything to him.
I think whenever they think there's no one around who's a threat to them, they probably are rather typically forthcoming. Yeah, when they're among their fellow elites.
Well, I can definitely see how these kinds of organizations would attract those kinds of people.
Hmm.
You would
I was
think
thinking
that they would at least be a little bit more careful with everything that O'Keefe has done. But
he probably does use honeypots. Eventually, he does a lot of things. I'm just glad he's still around, really. When corporate weasels basically stole Project Veritas from underneath him, I was kind of worried about him for a while there. The only proof of life was one photo with RFK, but he seems all right. And if he's not, he's been very well cloned. Still, yeah, any case. Yes, I think they do typically want among their own to brag about how brilliant they are and how much they're getting away with. Any further thoughts on this topic, or should I move on? We got some lighthearted things we could take a look at.
I would rather look at lighthearted things.
Okay. Woman arrested for exposure at McDonald's in Socrates. I never read this, did I? A woman in Socrates has been charged for exposing himself at McDonald's, according to police. Cheryl Johnson, 49 of Westbury, was arrested on May 18th. At 4:49 p.m. on May 18th, Socrates police responded to a call at a 350 route onto McDonald's location. Report a female was exposing a parking lot. As an investigation determined that Johnson had laid on the sidewalk next to the restaurant, pulled her pants and underwear off, and allegedly began to repeatedly raise her legs above her head before deciding to run around a vehicle in the parking lot. Police say Johnson then got into her SUV and popped out of the sunroof with her breasts exposed. All the while, her actions have been reported in... Yeah, we've read this before. You know, if you're going to try to go viral on the internet by showing your junk in a live stream, well, that's already a terrible idea. But you would think if you would have even the barest minimal amount of self-respect, you wouldn't associate it with McDonald's.
and why McDonald's? Like, you could just go find any pride parade and do all this and not get in trouble.
Yeah, pretty much. And she might be obligated to strap on a dildo or something, but yeah, if she did that there, this would not make the news and they wouldn't be arrested. Police arrested Johnson scene and she was charged for exposure of a person. That's a strange charge.
It's a strange way of wording that particular violation of law, but yeah.
Public obscenity, public nudity, exposure of a person. That's
Indecent exposure.
That's exposure of a person is incredibly vague and awkward, isn't it?
I mean, that could just mean that they're exposing them to brutal weather conditions.
Yes. If I'm somewhere, I'm exposing my face. That's exposure of a person. It's one of the things I try to avoid, personally. Even that much. Well, in any case.
Then again, though, it makes perfect sense that they'd be vague and cryptic about it, just as a means to prosecute people for whatever the hell they want when they really want to get them for something.
Yes. Like everything they've done to Alex Jones. Hey, does anyone know how well he's doing? I know he's still around. I'm very pleased to see it. It's amazing how one can persist when you have a court judgment against them for, what was it? 50 bajillion megabucks?
Something completely stupid and nonsensical, but he's actually doing quite well. He's still pretty regularly appearing on Crowder's show, so he has to, be surviving in some shape or form.
Fantastic. I've come to really like Crowder. I don't watch their shows nearly enough, I think. Because I don't watch many shows at all. I never watched a full episode of InfoWars. But I applaud Jones' efforts, because even when he's off the rails, all he ever did was say things.
Well, he's not really off the rails. It's just a bit. He's one of
Okay.
those people that can be very energetic in an entertaining way,
Oh,
and
yes, I'm aware, but he has, in my
yeah.
opinion, he's been, what, be it part of the act or not, maybe he was just pretending to be off the rails. He's still kind of off the rails. Acceptable channel, greetings. You have a wrench, so you've clearly been here before. Did you change your name recently? In any case, exposure to person is a violation that involves showing your intimate parts in public. The offense is similar to the crime of public lewdness, and I'm pretty sure it's almost never appropriately enforced the right contexts. In any case, I like Crowder. I don't believe for a second that that issue he had with, what was it, the Daily Wire, was about money. And finally, someone correct me if I'm wrong on this, I'm pretty sure he does not like Andrew Tate, the Tate brothers. I think that's important. I'm really bothered by the people who will align themselves with the two degenerate scumbags doing their best to fill Epstein's gaping void.
Are you referring to Crowder or Jones?
Uh, Anyone that does it. I think Jones might be more inclined to stand with Taint than Crowder there. That's one of the things I presumed to like about Crowder.
So, Crowder has expressed, if I'm remembering correctly, that he doesn't care for the type of individual that Andrew Tate is, but of course believes that you shouldn't be persecuted based on mere accusations. There needs to be a legitimate system of justice that, provides actual evidence.
Oh, well, you're quite right. I don't think, however, that the ban from Twitter crowd follower compiled some pretty damning evidence on that point, and they did kind of build their entire career aggressively stressing how you need to just take the worst sort of advantage. And yes, Andrew Taint. As far as I'm concerned, that is their last name. They are the Taint brothers, and I yeah, never working with. Mind you, I would like to note that even though I absolutely despise the Taint brothers, I never wanted them purged from the internet, silenced, kicked off Twitter. In fact, I found it very suspicious that it happened, because it largely just helped them hide a lot of the shit they got up to.
It also kind of justifies the claims that it's unjust persecution.
Yes, and
So,
they certainly leaned on that, but I always suspected the establishment might have been helping them hide. They just didn't have the sense to see.
I mean, I believe, I haven't really looked into the entire situation because honestly, I just don't care. But I believe he's of the wrong political persuasion for that advantage.
I don't think the Taints have a political allegiance.
Well, we know how it goes nowadays. Not affirmatively and loudly and constantly proclaiming your allegiance to one particular side obviously just makes you the other side.
Yes, that is true. That's how they view it. A lot of people view these things this way. For those of you inclined to look into the Taint brothers yourself, Crabman's efforts were preserved on his Substack. A link I put in the chat. We're not going to remind that. Meanwhile, his name is not Biden or Crackhead Hunter. You are right. Just because the Taints are awful doesn't mean there aren't worse people out there.
Speaking of miscarriages of justice,
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm reminded once again of Aiden Paladin's recent video on conspiracy theories. And she has to play with the lingo of the age to avoid getting terribly banhammered herself, which I grasped towards the end. But it really chafes when one calls so many things mere conspiracy theories that are much more absurd not to believe. You know, the things with photographic evidence. Or the clearly senile president who eats dirt trying to cross the even plane of a stage, can't manage stairs, shit himself in front of the Pope, segues into babble constantly, cannot plausibly be dressing himself still. That
Wait,
to say that he's a competent, beloved president, totally worthy of the position.
did he shit himself in front of the Pope?
He absolutely did. It's not.
Holy fuck.
It's not one of those things that will ever be truly confirmed by any particularly alleged authoritative media source, but it's very obvious that that's what happened.
And I don't know if you've seen fit to look into it, but there's a wide range of things on that infamous laptop that would put any of us away for a long time. But not Hunter Biden, who, after that happened, went around making surprisingly large amounts of money for his art, despite not being an artist in a meaningful way. Nothing suspicious there.
The gun in a dumpster that he couldn't even be bothered to scratch the serial number off of, thus very easily tracing it back to him, would have been enough to put us away forever.
I really think
Yes.
Tucker Carlson should have leaned in on him when he had a chance at the right time. That was one of the things that made me actually wary of Tucker. Because he could have leaned in on that laptop. He didn't. He backed down. He was told that he might be breaking ranks by not doing so. No, I think he was doing as he was told. He was falling in line. That said, now that he's completely away from Fox News, I like what he's been doing on Twitter.
Yeah, I'm honestly, I've never been a huge fan of Tucker Carlson. You know, it's not like I'd go out of my way to watch anything because I normally didn't watch TV anyways. But
I've always hated Fox News.
yeah,
I don't
feel
like any of them at this point, but I've never liked Fox News.
the Fox News yoke was definitely very strong on him.
Any case, yes, Tucker Carlson doing great stuff on Twitter, and I like the fact that he's found a loophole that allows him to probably really, really piss off Murdoch and his ostensible handlers at Fox. I don't know if I would trust him, but I think he's close to the right side of things these days than before. Oh hey, here's something else we can discuss. How have you been thinking about the aliens? Very big news about aliens all the time. Of course, isn't totally a desperate distraction from everything else that is so much worse and so much more glaring.
There's definitely aliens out there. They still don't want jack shit to do with us. Being a avid enjoyer of the HFY subreddit stories myself, there's probably quite a few of them just watching us fuck ourselves up and don't want anything to do with it. And they're desperately hoping we just don't come to them.
Again, apparently the big news is that the US government has looted wrecked ships and taken alien prisoners and cut up their corpses. And this is great news if it's true, because the aliens haven't seen fit to just nuke the planet in response, which means they're probably not going to. And they surely must know what's happened at this point. But yeah, I do believe this is mostly a distraction. Greetings in chat, Master Hansen. We were discussing a woman who thought it would be a great idea to go viral on the internet by having herself filmed running around half naked in front of McDonald's. And then we moved on to other things. I'm afraid you missed all the really good stories there, Master Johansson. Like Elon Musk and Zuckerberg fighting an octagon in Vegas, ostensibly.
Also, about the aliens, I saw some trailer being linked on a Discord server that I'm on about a movie called Trump versus Illuminati. And it says directed by BC-14 with Timothy Banfield, Marco Guzman, Sophia Wood-Stevens, Edson Camacho. A clone of Donald Trump survives the Earth's destruction by stowing away aboard the last spacebound shuttle. At the same time, across space, the human race continues to fight a costly battle against Illuminati forces.
Wow. Talk about somebody that's really got Trump's dick in their mouth.
It's so hard
The
to tell
movie is
parody
3 years old.
satire. So hard to tell parody and satire from just about anything else going on.
It doesn't say if it's satire, but it has an IMDb rating of 2.1 out of 10.
It's so hard to tell, 'cause so much of parody and satire can only be confirmed from the creator and how tragically sincere they may be. Fleetingly, Pub apologizes after promo offering free drinks to women based on bra size. Sparks outrage. As you see, the limited have struck again, doing their best to spite all large breast women, in this case by denying them free drinks at the pub. The Woolshed in Hindley and Adelaide, Australia apologised for their promo, which offered women an increasing number of free drinks the bigger their bra cup size.
That's just unfair. I'm just gonna say it. I'm a particular fan of flat justice. Not in a creepy way, definitely of age. But yeah, so that just makes it unfair.
Well then.
So you don't like Big Mama Milkers?
Not, I'll put it this way, not my most favorite thing in the world.
I'm generally appreciative. But in any case, they've apologized, and no large breast women will be getting free drinks at their pub. So I suppose justice has been served. Although I sense a bit of jealousy. Meanwhile, I am sort of up 16 likes. Thank you. I hope you're all enjoying the streams.
There's probably definitely some jealousy going on there. Yeah, I believe that there's no need to be jealous. Just saying.
I too want a pulse rifle, but I really want more laser guns. I promised laser guns from a very young, and they haven't become commercially available. It seems quite overdue. Yeah, you can light a match or get yourself busted trying to blind a pilot on a jet somehow. Never really quite understood how they supposedly caught those guys unless they just stupidly kept on doing it while police were watching them at it. Which, yeah, of course, there's probably going to be some group of people who would be exactly that stupid. Don't even need to check their net.
I honestly don't know why anybody would want to do that in the first place. Some people are just stupid,
Dicks.
I guess. Dicks and stupid.
Case,
yep.
No burning laser guns. No commercially available anything raised, really. It's wrong and depressing. Let's see. Oh, and I do remember a lot about QAnon. I didn't follow it very closely. My thing about QAnon is that it really freaked out or angered some of the right people it should. There was something about it that did feel a bit honey-potish, though. And I don't think there was much reveal that way. Clones use Chinese-made lasers because they are made without any safety restrictions worldwide. Yeah, that... Okay, that makes the lasers a lot more fun, but it doesn't excuse the way they're misusing them. I want one now. I
They're
assure
pretty
you,
easy to get.
I wouldn't try to bring any planes down with it.
I just came across something interesting here on YouTube. Not sure if you're familiar with Upper Echelon's channel. I personally believe that the information that he provides is reliable. And that being the case, apparently, the technological warfare is really advanced. A military satellite was hacked and offered for sale. Well, access to it, that is. So, yeah, we're going there now, I guess.
Well, I was going to read this next one, but it's broken. The site appears to be actually... No, here we go. Okay, right. Watch! Florida thief burglarizes man Mr. Earl wearing a cardboard box on his head. And meanwhile, Upper Echelon, I'm not familiar with him, but I'm sure they are a pretty good source. A lot of the best news you can find these days comes from those sources. Doomcock was absolutely dead right about what they were doing in Indiana Jones. And, yeah, it's the small guys that seem to have the best stuff.
Oh god, I misread that. I misread that as by Matthew McNutley.
McNulty, it's awfully close.
Do you think he was bullied at school, called McNutley?
I guarantee it.
Yeah, it seems very high odds.
Yeah.
Watch Florida thief burglarizes Miami store while wearing a cardboard box over his head.
Somebody played a little bit too much Metal Gear Solid.
Yep. A thief in Florida was arrested despite attempting to hide in front of his face with a large cardboard box that burglarized a Miami store June 3rd, according to TMZ. The robbery reportedly took place around 4 a.m. at a Miami Gardens phone repair shop. Thief nabbed in Miami despite wearing box over head to conceal identity. Surveillance footage obtained by NBC South Florida show the man with a box over his head smashing a glass display case with an unknown object. The box-wearing bandit made off with 19 iPhones and upwards of $8,000 in cash. Owner of Repair Tech, Jeremy Berganza, told NBC6. However, CCTV did capture him briefly lifting the box to see what he was grabbing. His face was revealed, eventually leading to his arrest hours later. Why box?
I guess he couldn't find a pair of very transparent pantyhose.
He didn't even properly poke holes in its see-through, because he apparently had to lift the box to see what he was looting. Wow. Well, we are just about out of time here. I was going to experiment with trying to play some videos. Moss Jensen's been putting a lot of those in the raid pages, but I always feel awkward watching an entire video of someone else's efforts. It just feels disrespectful. Also, what am I going to do?
Well, let me put it this way. I do believe that what are those fucking channels that watch videos and just talk about them? What are they?
Reaction
Review
channels?
Reaction channels, yes. I do believe that is the lowest form of entertainment, but it is indeed entertainment all the same, and every once in a while is not that bad, in my opinion.
Fair enough. I'll have to better analyze my concerns in this topic. We have 5 minutes remaining.
I do like reaction videos, but I do think they should be like what Josh Stripe-Hayes does, where he adds value to the original video, and he also tells people to go and enjoy the original.
I'd argue that pretty much all of the big ones do that just to cover their own asses, and the value that they claim to add is most certainly subjective.
I'm saying he adds value to the videos, so it's not really subjective. From his point of view. I mean, he just sits there and talks about videos while playing a game. Mostly RuneScape.
I will have to mull that. In the 4 minutes remaining, I would like to note that at the end of any of my shows, every one of you who is a video creator, or live streamer, or otherwise content creator, is quite welcome to link your own channels and to invite others watching to check them out. It's always been that way, but not everyone necessarily knows. And, yeah, I understand that. I wish PewDiePie well, but at his height I found him absolutely insufferable, and always hated it when YouTube felt I needed to watch nothing but PewDiePie, because I saw 5 seconds of one clip one time.
I mean, to be fair, I found it pretty amusing that he was all of a sudden being called a Nazi.
Yeah, that was farcical. I'm annoyed that didn't he technically lose to, what was it? Z series, R series? Some corporate behemoth project?
T-Series, but he didn't lose, as far as I know.
Oh. I heard otherwise.
He already made his millions upon millions of dollars. Nothing that can happen will be a loss to him anymore.
Well, in any case, Marshall Johnson, no, feel free to toss whatever you like in the rage pages. I'm just not sure I would necessarily even... By all means, recommend anything you like. Maybe I should put another channel for just recommending things that are actually liked. Which reminds me, speaking of other excellent content on YouTube, that I'm not being paid to support in any way, shape, or form, Kaylet here recently sent me a video done by Agro Squirrel. They tend to read a lot of short sci-fi stories, and they are a lot of fun.
Oh, I did. Yeah, I found that one to be pretty damn good.
Yep, I made a point of listening to it, and I approved. It was just it was a charming tale, Clan Omega. I could throw without the quote of the Charge of Light Brigade, because I really don't like that particular term. It implies something needless. It actually was quite unfair to the context of the story. As far as I'm concerned, the way the Admiral went out and his crew, that's badass. If I were of an advanced age, and I had the opportunity, as I would see it, to take part in what amounts to a suicide mission to save a planet, yeah, sign me up.
I thought that I thought it was a very emotional moment to me personally when you know, they had to they went out of their way to have this badass infantry race of warriors you know, be mournful of the bravery shown. I just thought that was a good part.
No, it definitely was. Definitely. I'm not seriously going to do me watch. A bit confused with that. Well, we're wrapping things up here. I thank you all for joining me and making this stream a success at 15 likes. That's a full 3 extra likes more, or possibly 4, depending on how badly Google is lying to me right now.
It's
That is
16.
necessary to make a success. Fantastic. You know, and I'm just going to launch the confetti again one more time. For the effect. Thank you for joining me, Caleb, Haven, and I guess we'll be shutting down here. I will be seeing you all next time. Let's see. Next. Well, Tuesday or Wednesday, I will see about streaming some gaming that appeals to enough players. After that, I will be live again next Thursday. Almost certain. I thought I would be last Thursday. That didn't happen. Sorry about that. Couldn't be helped. Thursdays.
Yeah.
Until next time, so long as progress continues, success is inevitable. Ostensibly.
Farewell all, until next time.
Take care.